Welcome back to some Monster Hunter. This episode, I'm going to clear my throat and distract myself and then talk about how I am not immediately going to talk about what I should be talking about. And then I'm going to look at some armor. No, I have been pretty busy lately, so I haven't been able to do the grinding that I wanted to do. Accordingly, we are looking at some Volvodon gear. Now, I found out how to get monster broth. Funny enough, it's from Volvodon. So this is probably just going to be, as I imagine the thumbnail is going to designate, a Volvodon hunting episode. I'm going to try and get enough stuff to build all of the gear that I need. I don't know if there's anything specific that I need, so we'll just consume some stuff and get going. I personally I have a little bit of time that I could be spending grinding, and I'm not even gonna lie about it. I'm going to spend that time playing Baldur's Gate 3 instead. Because I'm just psyched for that game. And I think it's going to be a really good time. I generally like CRPGs, although I view them as slightly, like, deadly. Just in that I like them so much, it's actually kind of easy to get overtly sucked into them, especially if you're committing to possibly playing the game multiple times, making different choices and seeing different outcomes. And a game like Baldur's Gate 3, especially based on the previous work of Larian, really looks like that is going to be a temptation. So it's tough to say what's going to be best. But I definitely am going to, like, just get lost in it. When I originally actually upgraded my GPU, and it was maybe like a year ago, something like that, I upgraded my GPU largely because I was excited about Baldur's Gate 3. That was a game that I looked at it and I was like, oh, I want this to run really, really well. Oh, I'm going to get disabled. And I don't think my, at the time, 1050 Ti was going to be able to cut it. Or at least not to the level that I wanted it to. I wanted to be able to have like a really crisp, near flawless experience at launch. So now that the game is out, and it's out, I'll let you know how advanced I'm recording this. It's out today. It came out a few hours ago on Steam. I have downloaded and installed it. I made sure to not grab the beta either. I was like, just like flicking through on my computer. I'm like, oh, is it okay? It's 88 gigs still. It's 88 gigs. It's 80 gigs. All right, and that's 122 gigs. All right, that's the whole game. All right, and then, you know, actually going ahead. So I'm definitely looking forwards, and I've played a lot of them. It's interesting because, like, I think this is going to make me, it's going to be my favorite Baldur's Gate, if I'm being honest with you, because you know, my age and stuff, when I was playing these games, they were more or less all already out. So it was, for me, it was like revisiting things that were not new. So from a looking back perspective, I remember Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, like, I enjoyed them. But I definitely was more of a Neverwinter Nights guy. There was something about that system. Maybe it was just like the 3.5 of it all, right? Because the original Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, if I'm correct, are on the 2nd edition D&D 2E. And that's a fine system, but my hesitancy is because I'm a modern D&D guy. And 2E or original or Thaco, any of that, I'm just like, I would rather not ever. I think genuinely, if I was to name a like dragon villain in a campaign in D&D, the villain's name would be Thaco. So, you know, I think there's a mechanical obstacle between me and like going back to replay Baldur's Gate 1 or 2. That being said, Neverwinter Nights, I guess specifically, fantastic. I liked 1 and 2. I actually liked 2 more than 1. But now I've kind of gotten to this point, and I really like refined this opinion when I was replaying Dragon Age Origins for this channel. In that I don't really like combat that isn't strategy, tactical, turn-based, whatever. I love the Baldur's Gate 3 Divinity Original Sin kind of look and vibe. I think that is ideal. I kind of like really seeing the turn order, and I like being able to plan things out very much like you would when you're playing tabletop D&D. Although, in my ongoing campaign, we just played session 58 last night, which is not like a lifelong one. It's going for about a year or two. So, you know, we've gone through 3 full arcs in that campaign. So it's kind of like each arc is somehow related to one of the main characters, and then the quest line is probably something new, but is parallel to or involves an element of the background of the character. So with that being the case, we're on Act 4, but we haven't actually had a fight in a few sessions. There have been a lot of like big world developments, I guess you could say. One of the characters had been looking for their brother and finally found them. So after, I think it was 56 sessions of looking and bringing them up and having little clues along the way, now, of course, they know who they are, where they are. There are some other ramifications of that discovery, which the party has kind of been working through. And I think, you know, that really, to me, is the biggest differentiation, like how people are approaching D&D now. I think, you know, not in the positive or negative way, just in like a Critical Role has affected the perception of what D&D is. And that's fine, because there's really no wrong way to play as long as the table is enjoying the game that's being played, and everyone is on the same page and has agreed to the terms. Like, that's great, perfect. That's a good game. It's a good D&D session. I'm more just thinking, I grew up at a time where D&D was very mechanical and very stat forward and very roll forward. And there was, at times, elements of things that were left up to randomization. And I'm not 100% on that either. I like the Fallout New Vegas style to world building and immersion. Every single element of the world is a fairly deep pool, but if you just want to skirt through some things, then that's okay too. And I like trying to reduce the distinction between abiding the story and being a person in the story, if that makes sense. Like, I want the campaign to be something that makes sense for the party to do, and all of the options to, you know, again, fit both narrative and how they want to play. So I would diatribe. So all of that has happened, but yeah, I definitely grew up with like much more mechanical, even like random encounters for bosses and stuff. I feel like nowadays, people are designing campaigns that are more intentional. So with the exception of like traveling around, or maybe something that like summons enemies into the room, you wouldn't like see a dungeon where every single room is a randomized threat and enemy combination. Maybe like the number of enemies or the health or something, but totally random encounters I feel like aren't very popular right now. Mostly because, again, you're having a more constructed, intentional campaign with story beats and narrative highs and lows. And, you know, that's what I'm experiencing with this ongoing campaign, is like there are elements of the development of character changes and how they're reacting to the world and the other characters that in my original kind of experienced player, or some of the earlier groups that I DM'd, it would have been dealt with almost immediately, or it would have been maybe a 10-minute conversation. And then there's some things that have gone on for a few sessions, and that's not a frustrating thing. It's just interesting to me because of the differentiations I've had between different parties and their approach and how they like their table to like play. It does sometimes mean, though, like as the party is having an internal discussion and they're like coming to terms with stuff or sharing information, that like I'll be DMing and listening, and maybe I'll like make a joke or interject with something that's happened. But other times I'll just be like playing some game on my iPad because there isn't anything for me to really do when, you know, the party's in downtime. They're not in a pressing thread. There's nothing, and you know, I don't want to be one of those DMs. It's like, oh, you've talked for 5 minutes, so a gargoyle bursts through the window and now everyone's in a fight, you know? So there just hasn't been much combat. But we're in a situation now where they're going out to explore new settlements that they had to do some investigation for and find out where it was, because it was not a common place to go to. So now they're off to there, and that'll be the next session, finding this it's kind of like a mage commune settlement, effectively, where they live out on really tall stilts, buildings out in the ocean. And they practice a few different types of magic. Nothing illegal, really, even if they're experimental. But they're kind of the antithesis of a magical university, where you'd have like levels and very specific names. They're much more about, you know, anyone at any level with the right support can experiment or learn about something and explore their passions. So where a magical university might take you from point A to point B, this magical commune will kind of take you from point A to number 57. And then you might get like half of B. And all the while, you might also like have learned how to play the drums or something. Because I think there's a rigidity to magical universities, and this place is it still holds knowledge as paramount, but it doesn't hold the like ceaseless pursuit of it as the best way to achieve that, I guess is the way to view it. So that's where they're going. And then from there, they're going to a different location. They ultimately are just trying to find where to go. So they're going to this magical commune because they're looking for a place that is inherently associated with a magical item. They figure this group of magical people may well have the information. So they would like to go there, and then if they're able to discern their information, they're going to go to this place that this other item is ultimately. And there is the potential of combat. So it might be near the end of the next session, depending on how sailing goes. Because, like, sailing is something I tend to randomize to a degree. I have a really big sailing chart, and it's fun every now and then, just like open something up and break a percentage. And what I mean by that is, like, say you have the number 10, so like 1 to 10, right? And you can land on any of those numbers. So there's, if that's all of your options, and each of those things are 10% as likely to happen as the other, or yeah, you have a 10% chance of landing on any specific one. There's no weight anywhere. But now say your figures are between 1 and 100, right? And you have it broken up 1 to 10, 11 to 20, all that. 10 figures each way. When you break a percentage, you could go like, okay, instead of going 1 to 10, I'm going to go 1 to 5 and then 6 to 10. And then that gives me these smaller percentages, so I can make these things rare. They're things that occur less likely compared to the others. And then that's how I've kind of designed my C chart. I've like just continued to, every now and then I'll break a percentage. So there's more things that can happen, but any specific thing is less likely to happen. You can only do it to a certain degree though, unless you're going to have variations of positive and negative. What I mean by that is, like, realistically, unless the waters are bad for some, you know, logical reason, some deity is pissed off, there's monsters in the water that are really treacherous, your ship is specifically cursed, something like that. Sailing should always have a percentage chance, and a fairly decent one, of just going okay. And then you should have, you know, variations of how bad something went, from like, it was a bit cloudy out, to sirens were actively trying to call you to your death from the side, to, you know, oh shit, there is a giant mouth bigger than the ship underneath us, you know, whatever it is. You should always have variations of failure, in my opinion, but success sometimes should just be generic and achievable. And I say that because, like, when you have that as a standard, say even 35% of the time everything just goes okay, and you have that as the standard for a while, when you remove that, you can instill the feeling of desolation, of harshness, of, you know, not exactly being somewhere that you are welcome as an entity. And that's a, oh, interesting. That's a fun thing. It's good to give normal experiences so that you can have abnormal experiences. That's all I'm saying with that type of thing. And this guy's caught, so lovely. One of probably a bunch in this episode. Yeah. Alright, maybe I'll, nice. Yes. All these angles. Cat, get out of my shot. Hey, thank you. Look at that. Yeah. That white background isn't too bad to cut out. I actually think that's something I'm going to use Baldur's Gate 3 for as well. Is like, if the character designer is really convenient to use, and I can like put a white background on to look at the character in preview mode or something like that, it could very well become a token creator for my tabletop game. Because I use all digital resources. A lot of it I create or take from somewhere because it's a free game. I'm not like charging anything. Oh well. Happy cats. Okay, I did not get any broth this time, but I have prior, so. Great. We're back to it. So, and again, it's a Volvidon episode, so I'm just gonna go on to another Volvidon. Not exactly super riveting. Yeah, I've tried to generally remove the grind, but as I've mentioned, too many games to be playing. You never know, man. If I get hit by a bus, I want to go on and see those games in case I do. I figure I'll change it up between... Oh, excuse me. This one and that one, though. Just to keep it from getting too boring for me. Because again, it's just the nature of, you know, grinding. If you do a lot of it, well, you know, it can feel like a job if you set specific deadlines that you want to achieve for your grinding. My dog is looking adorable right now. He's just passed out, had a good walk over lunch. Really cute. I've been napping more. I think it's just because of the heat. I'm not typically a nap guy, but when it's like, super hot out, and it's just like, for Canadian anyways, it's been too hot. So it's been tough to stay awake consistently. I'm actually kind of excited because we're kind of going into a little bit of a colder time. It's a little bit of a break. And that is really going to be nice because it's like tough to even sleep. I guess at least here where I am and my circle of friends, my experiences across Canada, people have more air conditioners nowadays, but they are not standard. So there's lots of places that if they have an air conditioner, it's like a portable one that they put in the window and kind of comes with its own set of issues. But very few I've known are like built into the unit itself. And that seems to be the case in like places that know it's going to be hot, like down in the States, for example. It's what I've seen over here and observed. And that like you'll have like big machines outside your house for the AC, and they're like steel, and they're like not something you buy. It's just like any other appliance that kind of comes with the house, which is interesting, but not the experience I have here in Canada. I think it's because the expectation at the time of a lot of these houses getting built was that it's Canada, it's cold, we don't need these. But now things are changing a little bit. And it's just hot all the time. We have really brutal summers. And now I think it's getting to the point where more seasons out of the year are hot than cold, which I feel like used to be the inverse when I was younger. Oh well. But I'm also a wimp when it comes to the heat. Like, I don't know how I got through Mexico. I was just like, I guess I was drunk. Or very full of food and constantly showering. Like, that is how I made it through. And I think that's how a lot of people made it through. Okay. I don't think the Great Roggy is going to have a terrible amount of health beyond this interaction. Maybe if it lasts like 3, 4, 5 more minutes. Oh, it heard that. Didn't like it. How dare I insult the great endurance of the Roggy. I was reading something, and I don't know how true it is, where the damage values in this game are out of whack. Which would be interesting to me if true, because I have felt really weak in this game. More so than with any of the others. So if that is the case, very interesting. I don't know, it's just like I notice like little things, how long something takes is something that I'm usually pretty cognizant of. And when my internal timer for stuff is out of whack, I'm like, huh. And it's always, especially in like the high rank of this game, it just feels like, yeah, my weapons just aren't as effective as they could be. Oh well. Oh, to the well. Charge, charge, charge. Yeah, they made charging so much more rewarding in World. Retrospectively, it feels super weak and not fun. I am looking forward to different armor. Not that I don't like this winter coat, but I feel like it is served its purpose. And now it is time for another set. Cool. So nondescript when you're hunting two monsters. It's just like, yeah, it's dead now, you fucking monster. I hope you feel bad. All right. I figure why not, you know, see what I might get. It's high rank after all, but clearly nothing of value. I'll see if I can find the Volvidon without using a Psycho Serum. And if not, I will use Psycho Serum. Yes, I know. What a statement. There was suspense. And at the end, surprise, shock, even, maybe, for some. But don't worry, it's okay. I'm not gonna do that to you again. I'm actually I'm kind of like excited because there's so many video games that are coming out right now that are just excellent, and I can't wait to dive into so many of them. Especially because I'm kind of like, I am ready for new games, I think is the best way to explain where I'm at. I should have just stood still. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm going the dumbest way. My head hurts now. Yeah, so after Baldur's Gate 3, which I'm going to play probably, I'm gonna tidy up a few things, and probably after this, then there's Armored Core 6, which I'm excited for. And Starfield isn't too far after that, and I'm very excited for Starfield. And, you know, I had beat Final Fantasy 16, got to do that. That was a good time. You know, the Story of Seasons, Wonderful Life. Story of Seasons, and I guess like what used to be Harvest Moon, is a series I adore a tremendous amount. The remasters have been direct deposits from my childhood. Like, they had my banking information and everything. It was kind of scary. They just didn't even need to ask. They just knew they had consent to make the charge and deliver the game to me, which was great. Super convenient. Really can't complain. So it's been a good year for games, and it looks like there's more exciting titles on the way. You know, that's good. It's exciting. Nope. Oh no. I got covered in gross. You would think someone enterprising would be like, oh, this is not a positive experience. I should bring something, I don't know, to prevent this from occurring? No. Oh, I'm just gonna... that was really just fireworks. That's actually all that was. It was not intended to harm the Volvodon. It was just to add better lighting. All right. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, okay, you just eat me out of this hole. I mean, I'm not blaming you. The instinct is probably great. If you're an insect eater, eating out of holes is probably a reliable means of, you know, sustaining your diet. Yeah, judgment is all about perspective there. I think I'm excited for Starfield as well because it's the first Elder Scrolls game that I played on PC at launch. I've played all of the Elder Scrolls games on PC as of now. I think I've even played Elder Scrolls Online briefly. It was okay. But I largely played everything on console first. And I'm not gonna lie, Morrowind and Oblivion, those were like my entries into the series. And I retrospectively went back and tried out Daggerfall and Arena and etc. So, in that experience, I was always again, playing on console with Fallout 3, New Vegas, Skyrim. When all these things came out, I got them on I think PS3 originally. And then years later, I invested an obscene amount of time into them as I discovered the ability to play them on PC and modify them and just have like a really fun experience from that point of view. An experience which up until that point I had never really had. And even then, like, it wasn't always a flawless experience. We'll say the computer that I put an obnoxious amount of Skyrim hours into could not really run Skyrim super well. I think if I was inside a building, maybe I was getting 30 to 45 frames per second. On like medium and some things low settings. So it wasn't a powerhouse by any definition of the term. But I enjoyed how the role-playing experience was augmented by the mouse and keyboard. Being able to very instinctively look where you wanted to look had an unspoken benefit that the controller in the circumstance couldn't replicate. No, I'm not a controller hater. I'll prefix with this as well, or interject more accurately. And I'll do that because I'm playing with a controller right now. I like controllers. They have good applications. There's some games that are absolutely undeniably better on controller. Something like Fallout, Skyrim, hopefully Starfield. I think mouse and keyboard is the way to go. I feel like it makes you feel like you are the one in the seat. Or even better, you're the one in the body of your character, of course. So this is the first time I'll be able to not only play the new Bethesda RPG release on PC, I should be able to play it at relatively good settings with a high frame rate. And that is exciting. And also because the GPU I have, which is only a 3060, and I'm not saying that's like some 4K 144 frames per second beast, and it's not what I'm going for. But it does have 12 gigs of VRAM, which I think is pretty awesome considering there's still a chunk of models, even modern ones, that only have 8 gigs of VRAM. So the 12 that I'm rocking is pretty exceptional for the circumstance. And it's actually because the vibe of the build I went for in my computer is like minimal RGB, little power cube. That was more what I was going for. So I actually intentionally went for a one fan build in my GPU, not the whole fan, not the whole case. I don't have like some big 3 fan thing and stuff. It's a one fan. And I actually find it works phenomenally. I am blown away by how good the temperatures are, despite only having one fan. The heat sink must be fantastic. But then I also have a really good airflow in my case. I have a lot of intake, which, as I understand it, is a big mistake that a lot of people make, not having enough intake. They're trying to like vent everything, but that ends up having no flow internally. So really all the fans are doing is moving the air that's right behind them compared to moving through air that's been channeled through the whole case and is kind of like intentionally getting expelled at a point of exit. Now, well. So I'm happy with the little computer. But I do think, I think it's going to do pretty good at Starfield. And I'm excited to see how well. I don't think I'm going to like try and do anything crazy with it. If vanilla runs well, maybe like high settings, if I'm being hopeful, I'll be pleased as punch. And that being said too, I think, I don't know, it kills me when I see people get underpowered GPUs, or not GPUs, CPUs. Like when somebody is like slapping like, you know, a 4070 or whatever, and they're like, yeah, I have a 4070 and I'm putting it onto my i3 build, and you're just like, for me, my soul becomes immediately dead. It is so painful to see that type of thing happen, because I don't know, once you go for a really powerful CPU and you feel how quickly those frames are getting served, how quick information is being calculated and processed, and just how quick your system is, it's like you can't go back. I could never do less than an i9 for a personal machine. If they come out with like an i11 or something, I would want to upgrade. I would want to, okay, I'm gonna save up and do a crazy like $6,000-$7,000 build, and it's gonna have an i11. You know, like that would be so boss. And there we go. Another Volvidon is taken care of. Of course, this is the Volvidon special. Let's hope we get a little monster broth, because I think we need a fair amount, and I'm just like getting very minimal amounts. You hear this, Volvidon? Monster broth me. Please and thank you. Hey, no monster broth. Shame. Yeah, we got defense, range, cluster, ice resistance, hunger, paralysis. Okay, that's all stuff. Wow, alright. We're so back. We are returned, and all of those other thoughts as well. I don't think... Okay, you know what? Actually, a great question. How much of the gear can we make already? I think I can go, as long as I haven't taken a quest, I can maintain my spawn benefits by going to look. So let's do that. Oh no. Oh god. Let's just go outside the door. Oof. Alright, so we'll go on down here. What is up, sir? Okay, I cannot build the helmet because I don't have the monster broth. I can't do that because I don't have a fire cell stone or a rick rack. Ooh, I can build the gloves. Wraith. Well, this lets me explore something. Yeah, monster broth as well, the rick rack. Gotcha. Okay. How much do I need to upgrade these to hit the 51? Okay, so same level, 5. Okay. That's how it's gonna be. Not as high rank. But that's okay, because we're just gonna use it to... Well, I might use it to deal with the wolf thing as well. So now we're a little bit mixed match, but that's okay. We're on our way. Oh, there isn't... Ooh. Yeah, I didn't think... Didn't think so. Okay. Well, that's a little bit of progress made. I hope that, you know... I can eventually get through this armor-wise. Alright, well, a little bit of Volvidon gear, upgrade a little bit. I had to be able to take care of Rathalos with this, and then I'm also going to have to take care of Zinogre. So it's really up in the air what is the best move. I really am going to base it 100% on how well does the Zinogre fight go. If fighting Zinogre is like... Well, again, it's a double Zinogre hunt. So if hunting a double Zinogre goes okay, then I'll be like, okay. Maybe I'll make Zinogre gear. And I'll kind of go from there. But yeah, we'll definitely have to see, because like -1 on all the gear pieces isn't great, but it's not as bad as like -3, -4, -5. So I think we'll definitely be able to take care of Rathlos with Volvidon gear. We might hit a bit of a wall with Zinogre, depending on how good my dodges are against high rank Zinogre. Here's the thing too, technically we could beat Rathlos without doing the gear. We could just like brute force attempt it. And I could just get better on my dodges and it would be fine. But it's okay. We'll try and invest in the Monster Hunter experience. Kind of an interesting combo, the red pants and gloves with the purple. It like gives me like midway through leveling up in an MMO. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't think much time has passed, so I'm not like getting close to anything. Just kind of like making my way through the experience. If we got a little bit of monster broth, that would be sweet, though. I don't know what this is. A round acorn. Maybe that's just from a cat. Ooh, I got paralyzed. Poor cat. He was just trying to play a song. I haven't really had my dog meet too many cats. I grew up with cats, so I'm very used to their behavior, but the dog itself is, well, he doesn't live with a cat. He's seen a few, because, like, people let them outside, although it's tough, because I don't actually think cats should be outside unattended. You know, if you're walking your cat, they're on a leash outside the house, they're on line or something, like, that's okay. And I know it's a contentious thing, but I just feel like in a city, you know, if it's a rural thing, a town, a farm, whatever, different story. But in a city, especially right by a street, I just don't feel like you should have your cat outside. So whenever I see a cat outside with my dog, I'm like, that's not ideal. I don't know. Or, you know, there's another thing I saw the other day. It was it's the first time I've really observed this. I was at a dog park. And, you know, like, when somebody doesn't obey certain rules, you kind of end up thinking a little bit, like, maybe negatively of them. And there's this very large person, we'll say, and their dog was on the other side of the park. And the dog went to, you know, the bathroom in the park, which is fine. You're allowed to do that, but it has to be picked up. And the person didn't notice and didn't get over to go see it. And just like, it's weird because before you see somebody do something, you might just be practicing charitable thinking, right? Like, oh, they're a nice person. They're out here taking their dog for a walk. They're letting it run around, and like that. That's great. And then you see them like not do something like that or ignore something like that, and your opinion kind of goes like, oh, are they not taking care of this thing? What's their home like? And maybe that's so judgmental, but I just feel like it's a real human experience to have those observations and then have other kind of assumptions or considerations pop up in lieu. Nope. That was a mess. I agree with you, Volvadon. Let's get out of here. It's not an accommodating party. Okay. Darn, darn, darn. Oh, that was a mistake on my part. Absolutely, by far. We'll do a little charging. And then we'll do some more charging. Oh no. The flow did not succeed. I feel like these bugs give monster broth, but I don't have the poison bombs to kill them and get it. Okay, well, now we get some butt attacks. Kind of makes me feel a little bit bad in this position. Alas, such is life. Oh, nice. My cat startled them or caused them to do that. Good dodge, bro. Okay. I was getting distracted again. I think it's the heat. My brain is a little bit fried as of late. I can just feel the processing. And it's like just a little bit warmer, so I'm getting a little throttling. The best way to describe the brain situation. I don't know how other people like get used to the heat, because like whatever you're used to, that's something, right? But nowadays everyone uses electronics, so like if you're in a place that's always hot, for example, and I genuinely don't know the answer to this really, what do you do when your electronics and computers don't last as long, when they're overheating, when they're having more technical issues? Like, is that an element of IT in those places in the world, right? Like, are you now circumstantially affected by the heat? Like, you had to replace parts more often? I don't know, like, all genuine questions about living in a part of the world that I don't know anything about. I do love talking about computer parts internationally, though, because, like, even countries that don't use, like, correct measurements of temperature, they will use Celsius for their computers, which is, like, great. If someone gives you a computer temperature in Fahrenheit, you just like look at them and like you're like, what are you doing? Even Americans use Celsius for computer temperatures. Like, get on board here, mister. Yeah, if someone was like, oh man, my computer is like 120 degrees, I'd be like, what? What are you talking about? Your computer should have shut off automatically. Are you bypassing something? Are you trying to do damage to your computer? And then they could just be like, oh no, I'm American. I have it set to Fahrenheit. It's like, that's not what matters here. The standard is luckily Celsius, which is good. Although I'm a little bit pig-headed about my temperatures, in that I consider like 60 to be the point of like, oh, this is running a little toasty. Sometimes like even 55, I'm like, oh, what's wrong here? And then I imagine in a place where it's like plus 40 or something, you would be happy to just get 60 during, you know, load. So I don't know. Big old world. Hey. Hold it on. Sir. Sir. Can you please come here? Thank you. All right, great. That was kind of fun, these little interactions. Cool, alright, that's another Volvidon taken care of. Hopefully I get some monster broth. We'll see what we get. I'm hoping for good stuff. I'm just like unnecessarily making my recording software create keyframes right here. It's like, why are you doing this to me? But it's okay. It's all for the best. That's what I have to say, though. I have to trust in my program and my process. Do I? I don't actually think that's entirely true. I'm probably allowed to be somewhere in the middle. Oh yeah, tired. And I didn't get to eat as much as I wanted to. I don't know, like I don't have any snack things in the house and I'm very snacky. No monster broth, darn. Well, I need some Rick Racks, so I'll take it. Hey, so I figured I'd talk to this guy. I haven't really upgraded. Oh, giant fish. That's words. Fishing basket. Interesting. Yeah, like I might as well just start getting this stuff. So we'll get both the mushroom logs. Yeah, why not? We'll unlock some perfumes, start getting better bugs. I'll get the row field, and we'll go and see the little cutscenes probably. I imagine. They're like, oh, look at all this new stuff. No? All right, then if that case is the case, I'm just gonna continue doing a little bit of farming here in between the hunt. I may well go and get more Volvidon stuff. We'll see how it goes, but for now, thanks for watching Monster Hunter Portable 3rd. See you around the next episode. Hope you have a good one. Bye.